want to begin by thanking all those who have served our country in the armed forces, including the veterans who are standing with me here today. One of the most sacred responsibilities we have as a country is to pay tribute to those who protect our freedom. To honor the victims of 9/11 and to pay tribute to all the service members who work to protect our freedom, I'd like to begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. There is no higher honor than to protect liberty and democracy. This honor comes with many sacrifices for those who choose to serve and their families. Many Hoosiers have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country and to their loved ones left behind. I extend both sympathy for your loss and gratitude for your loved one's service. Indiana has a great military tradition. Per capita, Indiana has the largest National Guard in our country. There are over 500,000 veterans here in Indiana. There are three things we must do to honor our veterans. One, make sure they have the best equipment and training when they deploy. Two, ensure that when they do deploy, their families are supported. And three, after their service, they are provided the best health care and the transition assistance that they have earned and deserve. Providing our American troops with the best equipment and training begins with making sure the federal budget is in line with the needs of our military. As a Marine Corps colonel assigned to the Pentagon, I saw defense expenditures forced by Congress that were unneeded and unwanted by our military. Defense spending is half our federal budget, and in times of budgetary constraints, true military experience by members of Congress becomes even more important. With limited resources, every time Congress buys equipment for political gain that is unwanted by the Department of Defense, it puts our men and women in harm's way. Not only should we take care of our service members in the fight, but we must take care of the veterans after the fight. For those who have been injured, advancements in battlefield medicine have allowed service members to survive injuries which have previously been fatal. Therefore, modern occupational therapy, rehabilitation, and other medical advancements must be part of a veteran's care. For instance, we are now discovering that higher rates of alcoholism, substance abuse, and suicide among veterans are linked to undiagnosed traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress syndrome. As your congressman, I'll work to expand resources available for programs that will ensure our returning veterans have the health care they deserve. Some of these measures include supporting the proposed Combat PTSD Act, funding research to better recognize and treat brain disorders, increased funding for combat medicine and prosthetic research. My personal experience with the VA has been excellent. Many people who work for the VA are veterans themselves, and we must make sure VA hospitals have the tools needed to care for our returning veterans. After healing our veterans, our next priority should be strong programs to assist their transition back into civilian life. While unemployment rates remain low among all veterans, our Iraq and Afghanistan veterans have a higher rate than the national average. No veteran should return from service to face homelessness or unemployment. I support the following legislation to aid veterans with their transition back to civilian life. I support improvements to post 9/11 GI Bill, which creates better access to education and to help improve job perspectives. I also support Returning Heroes Tax Credit, which incentivizes firms to hire unemployed veterans. I support the Wounded Warrior Tax Credit, which doubles the existing credit for veterans with service-connected disabilities. I will also work on the passage of the Veterans Job Corps, which helps get veterans jobs as first responders. Veterans are highly disciplined, educated, and deployed, and have developed transferable skills during their time of service. Often the problem lies not with the qualification, but in marketing those qualifications. I will introduce measures that aid businesses so they understand the skills that veterans offer and that veterans can effectively translate those skills into the private sector. We must not forget about the military families who have sacrificed much while their loved ones are in service. In Indiana, the General Assembly has made great significant progress in the last few years concerning veterans and their families, and as a state legislator, I've spearheaded efforts to support military families. We need to take these common sense ideas to Washington. I authored the Military Family Relief Fund, a program that provides funds for unexpected expenses for families during their loved one's deployment and up to 1 year afterwards. I co-authored legislation that makes it easier for active duty family members to transfer education credits and professional licenses between states, such as teaching and nursing licenses. At a time when we've asked our citizens to step up and to serve their country, it is unconscionable that there are proposals to cut resources for veterans, such as cutting thousands of jobs from the Department of Veterans Affairs and making veterans health care a voucher system. These issues concerning veterans and defense are real to me. You can rest assured that I will not support any conflict that will unnecessarily send our troops, our sons, and our daughters into harm's way. I am one of the many Americans who have made the choice to serve our country, and on my first day in Congress, I will bring almost 30 years of military experience to Washington. Thank you.